your courage, your resilience, and the generosity of your spirit. For 4 years, you marched and organized for equality and justice, for our lives and for our planet. And then you voted. And you delivered a clear message. You chose hope and unity, decency, science, and yes, truth.
Harris also added that democracy is not guaranteed and that it is only as strong as everyone's willingness to fight for it.
And when our democracy was on the ballot in this election, the soul of America at stake, and the world marching, you ushered in
Harris will also be America's first female, first black, and first South Asian vice president. Her victory also comes 100 years since women were given the right to vote.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
Biden's central message was one of unity and healing. His remarks thematically draw from the final major speeches from his campaign as he urges Americans to come together. He also promises to
this office to restore the soul of America, to rebuild the backbone of this nation, and to make America respected around the world again.
Come get some.
And to unite us here at home.
Make America respected. Trump's Make America Great Again slogan was one of the highlights of the new president-elect. Biden acknowledged the work of poll workers and local election officials following several days of intense ballot counting throughout the country. Biden also sent a message to those who voted for President Trump, calling for unity and reconciliation.
For all those of you who voted for President Trump, I understand your disappointment. I've lost a couple times myself, but now, let's give each other a chance. It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies, they are Americans.
Biden also addressed the grave challenges gripping the United States in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has claimed more than 235,000 American lives and cost millions their jobs.
The 230,000 Americans who've lost a loved one to this terrible virus this year. My heart goes out to each and every one of you. The Bible tells us, to everything there is a season, a time to build, a time to reap and a time to sow, and a time to heal. This is the time to heal in America.
Okay.
Our nation is shaped by the constant battle between
All
our
right, time to
angels
bring the pain.
and our devils.
Go, go, go! Go, go, go! That's black.
Time for our better angels to prevail.
Let's go.
The whole world is watching America. And I believe at our best, America is a beacon for the globe. We will lead not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example.
In his first calls for action, Biden promised to name a group of leading scientists and experts to be assigned as transition advisors to plans and convert into an action blueprint that will start on January 20th next year. From a major revamp of the tax code, an expansion of healthcare and getting the COVID-19 pandemic under control, Biden and Harris are This is Lester Time, reporting from Los Angeles.
Call for Biden and the presence celebrating erupted across the United States as they converse in historic of the Democratic nominees. Calvin LeBron is from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay. Engaging.
Presidential Election 2020 SMNI Special Coverage.
Joe Biden's victory over President Trump sparked celebration
All right. All systems are go. Stop.
After CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, the Associated Press, and Fox News projected Biden as the winner Saturday morning, honking horns, cheering, dancing, and popping champagne. I am here in Chicago, Illinois, where the newly inaugurated President of the United States, Joe Biden, won 56% of the state's votes. Emotions ran high as Chicagoans celebrated downtown, where citizens gathered and car horns rang out near the Trump Tower in downtown Chicago. In Washington, D.C., a crowd packed into the streets in front of the White House at Black Lives Matter Plaza within seconds of the race being called. The streets nearby filled with people shouting, banging pots and pans, and singing. In Philadelphia, which was key to Biden's decisive Pennsylvania win, cars honked, people waved Biden flags, and a large crowd gathered outside of Philadelphia City Hall. In New York City, a crowd gathered outside of the Trump International Hotel and Tower, chanting, "No more Trump," in Times Square. Hundreds gathered to celebrate. A crowd also gathered around the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, while Grand Army Plaza was essentially shut down to traffic as hundreds of people, mostly in masks, stood in the streets with Biden-Harris signs, American flags, and homemade signs.
Sir, yes,
In Los
sir.
Angeles, a crowd of ecstatic Biden supporters and film called
Yes, sir. Affirmative. All systems are go. Roger. All right. Yes, sir. All
I
right.
didn't see any protesters or really we're not protesters today, we're celebrators. That's true. All right?
Let's fuck shit up.
For me, I think that
Hoorah.
as soon as
Ready?
possible.
Okay.
Everything else doesn't really matter.
One
if you
reporting.
don't have
Sir,
a
yes,
planet
sir.
to live on, so I think that should really be a first priority.
Yes, sir.
And if it isn't, like, to me, that just doesn't
Commander,
make sense.
on
when
my way.
None of this would exist if we let global warming continue doing
Huh?
what it is.
I personally think he needs to tackle education reform.
All right. Come on, Doc.
We need to get
Okay.
to the roots of the systemic issues that we have in this country, and it all starts with education. So, in terms of even policing,
All right. On my way.
You know, it's because
Trying to get acquired.
this like tumultuous year of, I mean, the political era has been ridiculous, especially as a black woman. You know,
Hoorah!
it's sad we don't feel like anyone really
All right.
cares about the
Affirmative.
political indigenous
Yes,
of
sir.
the country.
Okay.
As
On my way.
So I'm so happy that
Yes, sir. Commander,
And it is
on
now
my way.
my
What's that? On my way.
to
Okay. Rock and
introduce
load.
the
Sir.
President-elect of the United States of America.
Commander, on my way.
Outside Biden's headquarters in Wilmington, Delaware, a crowd of all ages gathered, cheering,
yes,
singing,
sir.
and honking their horns. The crowd later swelled as they awaited Biden's first victory speech.
A convincing victory.
Reporting.
A victory
Rock and load.
for we the people.
Okay.
We won with the most votes ever cast on a presidential ticket in the history of the nation. 74 million.
All right. Okay. On it.
Chicago Mayor Laura Lightfoot says that America is back as the city
Okay.
continues.
What?
This is estimate will say.
United States Presidential Election 2020
What's that?
SMNI Special Coverage.
Those are the latest updates. Stay tuned for more only here at SMNI. I'm Fatima Nazil, and this is SMNI Breaking News.
Carlito Galvez. Ito po mga salient points ng roadmap. Ano po yung mga key considerations ng roadmap? Ang pinakamahalaga siyempre po ay ang kaligtasan or safety. Sumusunod ang visa or efficacy. Pangatlo, activity. Next, yung cost and complexity of the supply chain requirements. Isa pa rin ay access for clinical trials and research for production and distribution. Kasama rin ang complexities of the ground preparation and implementation. Panghuli, supply and demand of vaccines. Ito po yung mga major stages ng roadmap. Ito po kasi ay pinaghahandaan natin yung pagkakaroon ng bakuna. Sa konting tulong na lang po, baka tayo magkaroon ng bakuna. Pero samantala po alalahanin po natin yung hinihingi na ating presidente, mask, hugas, iwas. Dahil ang gusto natin, umabot tayo sa paglabas ng bakuna. So ano po itong mga stages? No? Unang-una po, yung scientific evaluation and selection. Ito po yung pinaka-critical na gagawin ng Department of Health at saka ng DOST. Pagkatapos po, yung access and acquisition, no? Yung guarantee of access. Ito po yung pamumunuan ng Department of Foreign Affairs at saka ng Department of Finance. Pangatlo po, yung procurement process. Ang bibili po niyan, yung PSDBM at saka ang DOF. Pang-apat po, yung production, shipment and storage, procurement service ng DBM, Task Force Resource Management and Logistics ng National Task Force. Tapos po yung distribution and deployment, PSDBM po yan at saka TGRML. Pang-anim po, yung implementation and nationwide vaccination, yung pagbabakuna na, no? Mangunguna po dyan ang DOH, NGAs, LGUs at LGAs. Pagkatapos po, yung assessment, evaluation and monitoring, kasama po dyan ang DOH, ang DOST, ang UP National Institute of Health. Ito po ang magiging timetable natin, no? Ang timetable po natin, itong 2 buwan ng Nobyembre at Disyembre, kinakailangan po ay yung roadmap completed and approved, yung National Task Force on COVID-19 Vaccination na fully organized, nagawa po natin yan, yung vaccine panel of experts na organized at expanded, yung vaccine po na analyzed na, selected and procured, yung clinical trials started, yung bilateral and multilateral engagements and arrangements completed, yung immunization, logistics and services support plan completed na po, tsaka yung stages 1 and 2 are completed. Ito po yung further critical timeline, January to March naman po, 2021, kinakailangan matapos na yung ating procurement process, no? Tapos production, shipment and storage, early planning, implementation plan, continuous evaluation and monitoring. Ito po yung mga importanteng mga decision points, no? Una-una po yung pagpili ng bakuna. Safety, efficacy, yung approval ng ating FDA. Didesisyonan din po kung single dose or 2 dose, no? Between 2 to 8 or negative 20 or negative 80. Ngayon po, meron tayong bisita sa pribadong sektor. Si Yeri Cosicuen ng Orca, no, para i-discuss yung mga available po na cold storage facilities. At isa pang sasagutin, single source o multiple source na yung pagkukuha na natin. Tapos, tingnan din po natin yung access and options to obtain vaccines. Meron po kasing kasunduan yung COVAX, leading vaccine manufacturers, no? So, dahil sa access, meron po mga self-vaccine countries. Pag titingnan din po natin yung mga bilateral deals ng gobyerno, yung mga bilateral deals sa mga lumakas sa mga bakuna, yung mga tripartite kasunduan sa tatlong between the government, private sector, at saka yung pribadong kumpanya na supported na sa pagkakaroon, at saka yung mga multilateral modalities kasi po pwede rin na tayo sa ASEAN ay mag-order para malaki order natin mabigyan ng prioridad at mabigyan ng yung food purchase arranged by World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and others. Nakikita niyo kung ngayon, ito yung mga pagkakas natin sa bilateral, tripartite, and multilateral sa bilateral G2G sa Philippines, China, Russia, gumagawa ng bakuna sa palitan ng At last, syempre po, yung multilateral natin, po pwede na yung ASEAN pool, yung lahat tayo bilang isang sasapi tayo doon sa mga food purchases ng World Bank, ng World Health Organization, UNICEF. Pumunta naman po tayo sa mga tanggapan. Ito po yung prioritization ng vaccine, sangayon na rin sa ating
All systems to go.
mauna po yung mga mahihirap sa provinces.
Yes, sir. All systems to go. Affirmative. Let's go. Go, go, go. On it. Okay.
Indigents at mahihirap. Alang sa multiple access, ito yung public and private partnership. Sa public, nakakonsentrate sa priority sector. Sa private, ito yung workers, consumers, market, at saka mga donasyon. Patuloy rin po ang ating close monitoring sa mga vaccine studies na nagaganap sa buong mundo dahil kailangan nating siguraduhin ang kaligtasan at pagiging epektibo ng bakuna once it is available for distribution. Tulad ng madalas kong sabihin, the availability of the vaccine will be a game changer where we go from avoidance to actively minimizing the threat of the infection. Naikasa na rin po at kasulukuyang may plano na ang mga lead agencies. Una, ang DOST sa vaccine development kung saan pinapatakbo ang mga clinical trials at nagkakalap ng mga datos upang karampatang ma-evaluate ang tamang bakuna. Bukod pa po dyan, binabantayan din po ng DOST yung vaccine developments in the global market at saka yung global market vaccine manufacturers and entities. Tapos, ikalawa, ang PSDBM naman po sa vaccine procurement and finance para siguraduhin na ang budget na inilalaan sa mga bakuna ay magagamit ng wasto at for maximum coverage ng intended beneficiaries. No? Ang PSDBM po, sila nga yung magpo-procure through various mechanisms allowed through bilateral, multilateral, and other financial modalities. At saka titignan din po nila yung dito na gawin yung bakuna. At ikatlo, ang DOH. Pagdating po ng vaccine deployment and rollout upang ihanda ang end-to-end system na magsisiguro mabigyan ng bakuna, una ang prioridad, bigyan ng prioridad, at sunod. Kasama rito, healthcare workers, monitoring follow immunization, sa pag-register ng mga bakuna. So, ito standards and strategy, enhancement of information systems, ecological, post-marketing surveillance, yung ports of entry, points of storage, and at saka yung pumunta muna po tayo sa COVID-19 update. Pero anyway, pumunta tayo ng isang kumpanya, pribadong kumpanya, sa atin, ang tawag na cold chain storage. So sa updates po, ito po sa global update ng Johns Hopkins, mahigit 50 milyon na, 316,000 ang tinamaan ng COVID-19 sa buong mundo. Mayroong 1,255,250 katao ang binanguin sa coronavirus. Estados Unidos na mayroong mahigit 9.9 million na mga kaso at 236,000. Pangalawa pa rin ang India na may pinakamaraming kaso ng COVID-19 sa mundo na mayroong 6,121. Ilan po ito ng Brazil, 162,397 deaths. France na mayroong mga kaso at 490 deaths. 1.7 million na mga kaso at 30,292 deaths. Active cases, no? Ang kabuuan natin na nagkaroon ng COVID ay 396,000. Ibig sabihin, 6.9% na aktibong kaso sa kabuuang mga kaso. 82% ay mild, 9.6% ay asymptomatic,
Yes, sir.
5.4% ay critical, at 3.1% ay severe. Mahigit
Alright.
11,000 o
On my way.
11,420
Alright.
ang nai-report na mga bagong gumaling as of
On my
November
way.
8. Sa kabuuan ay meron na po tayong recoveries na 361,638. Ito po ay 91.9% sa bansa. Samantalang, nasa 7,539 naman po ang binuwi ng buhay dahil sa coronavirus.
Commander.
Puntahan
Yes,
naman po
sir.
natin ang ating critical care capacity. Meron pa po tayong 50%, 57% available sa ating mga ICU beds, 60% available sa mga isolation beds, sa mga 60% beds available. Meron po tayong 50% available.
Sir, yes.
Bumalik po tayo yung 7 utos ng pampublikong mga sasakyan. Uulitin ko. Nandiyan pa rin po si coronavirus at po pwede pa rin tayo mahawa. Kaya lang po, kailangan natin mamamayan nang sila po yung makapasok sa kanilang trabaho dahil baka na mamamatay sa gutom. Pero po, para makaiwas sa COVID-19 sa pampublikong transportasyon ay yung 7 utos. Ito, wearing of mask, wearing of face shield, no talking and no eating. Frequent and proper disinfection. Automatic passengers. Yung distance. Okay? Pumunta naman po tayo on other matters. Nag-offer na naman po ng Bureau of Treasury na magsisimula sa Miyerkules, November 11, isang buwan, November 11. Ano po ba itong mga premium bonds na ito? Low-risk government securities. Ano po ang kagandahan itong mga bonds na ito? Una, sovereign backing. Ibig sabihin, credit-free risk at direct obligasyon ng ating republika. Hindi po kasi malulugi ang republika. Pangalawa, frequent interest payments. Every quarter po ang bayad ng interest. Pangatlo, mas affordable po. 500 pesos lang. E po pwede ka na mag-invest. At pang-apat at panghuli, mas mataas ito sa time deposit. So, kumuha na po tayo ng Premio Bonds. Nagbibigay din po ito ng tsansa sa mananalo ng cash at non-cash prizes tuwing mayroong quarterly draw. So meron na kayong interest, meron pang pagkakataong manalo. Paano po magwo-work ang Premio Bonds? Ganito po, bawat 500 investment ay nagbibigay sa eligible bondholder ng isang bond unit. At itong bond unit na ito ay magsisilbing isang entry para sa quarterly cash rewards draw. Ito naman po ang mga paraan para mag-invest sa Premio Bonds. Pwede sa pamamagitan ng selling agent or sa Bureau of Treasury Premio Bonds online or sa bonds.ph app or sa bank mobile app. Dito po nagtatapos ang ating briefing. Gaya ng aking sinabi po, importante po na magkaroon tayo ng cold storage, no? At kasama po natin ngayon si Yerick Cosiquen, siya po ang President and CEO ng Orca Cold Chain Solutions. Sir, welcome to our press briefing, Mr. Cosiquen.
Sir, magandang tanghali po. Sir Harry.
Yes, Mr. Cosiquen.